For the last few years, I've been using various dash cams. I am by no means a professional installer. In this video, I'll share my tips for install, placement, and a few things I picked up along the way. As you can see from some of the footage here, dash cams are necessary. For me, I hope to only ever need to pull footage for car club runs and sunsets. So let's talk dash cams. Dash cam installation does not have to look like this. Yes, all you need to do is stick that thing to your windshield and plug it into a power source that is active with the car or an accessory line. But a lot of people have concerns about wires dangling in the windshield, and most of the dash cam manufacturers give you a long enough cable to properly route it hidden through your car. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go over a couple quick things about dash cams and basically show you an installation video. I have the Guardian Defender Plus. This basically applies though to any dash cam you buy, and as long as they give you a long enough cord, you're going to be able to do this. So let's get started. Okay, since a lot of my subs are Challenger owners, I wanted to take a quick second to show you exactly how I changed the power port. So right now we are in the trunk of the Challenger. We've got the door flipped open, and now we're down here by the battery. Let's get this right over there so you can get a nice view. Okay, so you go over here, you pop the door. The center console, not in the center console, but the cluster area by the passenger's knee, there's a power port there, and you can change that to battery or ignition. So if you hold this in the position, you'll see that battery, see this fuse right here, battery, right now I have it in the ignition position. If you pull it out, and you can use the tool that is located in here to pull out your fuses. If you pull this fuse out, my fingers are frozen. Pull the fuse out, you move it up. The upper slot is battery. The slot closest to the rear of the car is ignition. So now if you want your dash cam on all the time and you have a battery protector, which I'll go into in another video, you can move it up here. If you want it on only with the car, you move it to this position back there. All right, hope that helps some of you Challenger owners. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. First thing is placement. What you do is you launch the app, you connect the camera to your phone, or if you're using a dash cam with a screen, go ahead and flip out the screen or turn the screen on so you can see what you're doing. What you want to capture is the road, and I'll show you a good picture about now and talk over it. You want to capture the road. You want to capture your fenders. This way you can see cars approaching on the right and the left. And you want to minimize the amount of sky that you're capturing because it's just wasted footage. So once you get a good position, and it's always best to try and center it on the windshield. You can put it off to the right or to the left, but then you're going to be angling the view. So if you can center it as best as you can, a little bit behind the rear view mirror, just make sure on certain cars there are sensors behind the mirror. So on, I guess my wife's Jeep and this car, got a sensor right here, and I've put a dash cam in this area hidden behind the mirror, and what it does is it blocks the sensor, so it has no idea when it's daytime or nighttime, and it causes some issues with the mirror constantly going from blue mode to regular mode. So just be careful in your placement. You don't want to block any sensors behind your mirrors. Alright, so what I have here is the Guardian Defender Plus. It's a very awesome dash cam. We've got the instruction manual here on a QR code. You'll notice there is no screen. This one is connected via app, like my Olaf Band-Aid there. This one you connect to your phone via an app, and then you can see what's on the screen, stream it directly to your phone. In this specific model, I picked up the GPS module as well. So we're going to be installing both. You know what? I don't like this thing, so I'm going to go ahead and ditch it. And I'm going to use their stick-on mount. You got plenty of tape. Screw it. I'm just going to do it. Okay, so this is the fun part. Getting this whole thing positioned. properly. Trying to find the perfect spot to mount this thing, to conceal it. You know what? So I actually kind of like sticking it right down here behind the mirror. Just make sure you leave yourself a space in between, and you have the perfect spot to mount this. I can route the wires up through there really nicely. I think this is where I'm going to go with it. Nice. Alright, so I'm going to go warm up the car real quick, and then we'll get back on this. Alright, so we've got the camera hooked back up, and I've decided that we're going to go with right here. The reason the car is running is so we can heat up the windshield. Now, when you put this on, obviously this camera's going to be collecting audio. You don't want it to be touching this piece, otherwise as you're driving it's going to be rattling like crazy. So what you want to do is you want to give yourself a little bit of space in between those two areas. Windshield's nice and warm. What you're looking for is uniform lineup over your fenders. This looks like about perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and peel the tape off. I've already cleaned the windshield with Windex and alcohol. And now before we stick it down, again, we're going to want to make sure we have that space in between. And that nice centered look going on there. And don't forget, there's a small delay between what you see on your screen and what the dash cam is seeing, so you want to account for that as well. I kind of like this. You don't even see it. My last few dash cams, it's been a little train wreck because they've always been in the way, because you've got this sensor here, so I had to put it either over here or over here. This one is nice. It's nice and concealed. It's hiding behind there. Okay, so we want to make sure that that little pad is all the way down. So now that the camera is in and in well, I'm going to take it out, and I'm going to use my finger to really push that pad in place. So you can see that right there, pushing that down nice and tight. Now I warmed up the windshield because it is a bit chilly out, and we slide that right back in, and we have a beautiful view of the dash. Let's see if we can bring this up one by turning it. Click. There we go. For me, a little too high, too much sky. I'd rather see what's coming up on my fenders, so we'll drop it down one. This way you can see cars that are coming up alongside of you. You don't really need that much sky. Alright, so next step would be routing the wires. We're going to get to that shortly. I'll be right back. Alright, so once you've got all that done, now what do we do with the wire? First thing I want to do here is I'm going to install the GPS module. Now the way this works is the module accepts the power for the camera, and then this other end heads over to the camera to power the camera. So what I'm thinking of doing is I'm putting the GPS module on this side and then routing the rest over to the camera on the other side. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this on, and then I'm going to relocate the camera. Let's move the mirror out of the way and clean the whole area down with some alcohol. Again, when you're putting, placing the camera, just make sure you're not blocking any sensors, and also make sure you have plenty of space for the cables to go in and out. So while I'm waiting for that to dry, let me get my super long cable here and plug it into the GPS module. And then I'm going to make sure I have enough room to route the cables and also get them to my desired location, which is the camera. Perfect. All right. Okay, the area is dry. It's warm to the touch. So I'm going to peel off the backing here. And we're going to stick this in nice and straight. Okay, so once you put it up here, you want to, like I said, hold it for about 30 seconds. And now we have all these wires to deal with. So I'm going to relocate the camera so you can watch what I'm doing. And I'm going to show you how to route the wiring hidden up through the headliner, down the pillar, down through here, underneath the glove box and into on the Challenger. There's 2 power ports, one inside the center console, which is on all the time, unless you are planning on recording 24/7. I'll go into that in another video, but for this camera we are going to be using the cigarette lighter plug. It is on when the car is on and off when the car is off. So we'll go into that in just 2 seconds. Alright, so hopefully you can see we've got the dash cam here hidden behind the mirror module, and we've got our GPS signal here. Alright, and what we're going to do is we're going to bring both of the cables around. Okay, we are going to use the headliner. We're going to push the cables up inside the headliner. Okay, and then to power the camera itself, we're going to make sure these cables are not tangled up. We're going to come into the camera. Okay, we get the right cable angle there. There we go. And then we're going to utilize whatever we have here to stuff the cables into. Now, you may need some interior tools to get this job done. I recommend soft plastic tools of some sort. Alright, and then you can use those to pry down the interior pieces so you can shove the cables in correctly. And it's going to be a little difficult just because of the amount of space you're working with here. And leave a little bit of place so you can plug and unplug the camera if you need to. There we go. Alright, and again, make sure there's no touching between the camera and the any of the plastic pieces, because otherwise that's going to create some unwanted rattle in your videos. Alright, so now we're going to shove the remaining cable up into the headliner, and that should be pretty easy. You can also use an interior tool to pull down the headliner a little bit. You're going to want to be careful on the edges of the headliner, because it's, in most cars the carpet is only glued on. So if you pull too hard or you slip, you may peel off some of that, headliner material. So you want to be very gentle up there. Again, just get your fingers in between. You want to push the headliner back, so you want to hold it here and push forward, so you're actually inserting it into the headliner. Okay, you want to get it in there, and you want to use your fingers to feel to make sure you've got it hooked in there, otherwise it's going to pop out later on. Okay, now we get to this point. A lot of people come down the pillar and then try to run across the dash. In most cars, the window moldings are the perfect place to do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come across here, and then I'm going to re-angle the camera. So I'm going to pull the pillar trim down. I'm going to leave a little bit of space up here, tuck all this in. I'm going to open the pillar trim just a little bit. And again, if you need to, you can use an interior tool to carefully insert the wire. Okay? And you want to get it down far enough. So there's some material here. There's a big open space here where your airbags are. So what you want to do is you want to get it just past where the roof liner ends. This way this pillar sits properly and it's not sticking out, and there's not a gap over here. So you want to do that nice and neat, and then push everything back up. Okay, so now we're going to relocate the camera, and we're going to come around to this side and do the rest. Okay, so here's the pillar. This is where we've, tucked the cable under, and you'll see right here where the roof material ends. Give you a second to look at that. So you want to get your cable right up underneath there. Okay, and then this easily comes out very simply, and you can insert the cable into there. Again, this is super simple. Just use your fingers to slowly press it in and hide it away. Okay, so now we've gone all the way down to here. Again, I'm going to reposition the camera so maybe we can see a little better. Okay, so again, I've done these installs on a Jeep, a Hyundai, another Challenger, an older Challenger, and they're all pretty much the same. Everybody's got this similar window molding. We've got the pillar. This part is where it gets a little tricky. There's usually places where the interior panels meet up, and what you want to do is you want to use those gaps to shove the cable in. You're going to definitely need an interior tool in some places. So right here I have a nice gap. So I'm going to use this pry tool to pull this out, get that inserted into there, and then we're going to push it in this way. Alright, and we're going to run it down this area here, right to the glove box. Alright, we need a little bit of prying over here to get it in. So now we're down by the glove box. Alright, again, this is super quick and super simple. Sometimes you pull a little too hard, so you may want to pull up some slack and try again. Okay, there we go. Alright, so now we're down to the final stretch, which is over to the center console power port over here. So everybody's got a little space underneath the dashboard. I have a cover under here, which is nice, so I don't have to actually zip tie it up in there. I can just slide it into the cover. So let's go down there and check that part out. Start up into the dashboard. This is the final stretch. Sometimes glove boxes, there's a really tight gap in here. So I find that opening up the glove box and then using my interior tool to separate the glove box from the side, I'm able to slide the wire in there. And again, this is usually the hardest part. Once you get that past the glove box hinge, you can then pry down, mostly usually with your fingers, but you can pry down the interior panel or the dash panel, or you can just zip tie it to existing points underneath there. And again, pushing inward, getting it all inside there. And now we're at the home stretch. So what you would do with all your spare wire is you would normally tuck it up underneath this panel. So let's turn the camera a little bit so we can get to where my plug is. Okay, I'm going right into here. Push that in that way. Okay, so I'm going to take a nice tight curve here. I'm going to use this to pry up my interior panel and get that wire under there. There we go. It is a little tight where the carpet is. All right. And we get to a nice corner spot there. So we have all that excess left over. Again, leave yourself a little bit of play so you can plug and unplug this easily. You know, stick it in here if you don't want to record anymore. All right. So for this final bit here, we tie it up there, and you can insert it up behind the console. You'll see I have some other wires in there. I'll go into detail on that in another video. And there you have it. From the driver point of view, in a Challenger, the Guardian is completely hidden, and I'll show you that in a second. But let's just go over the wiring job we did here. So we've got the GPS module right there. It goes up into the headliner, and I could do a better job there. Let me just do that while I hold you guys in here. So you go up into the headliner. We go out of the headliner, down into the camera. We've got some play so we can unplug and remove the camera if we need to. The rest of it goes up into the headliner, follows along here, into the pillar. You'll notice there's no gap in the pillar. Okay, into the weather stripping here, all the way down, into some existing seams, through underneath the dashboard, into the center console. And this is the normal drop-off point for most cameras. So my accessory port is here. Other cars have it in this general area. From this point on, I'm sure after seeing where you can stuff things, I'm sure you can find a place to stuff your wiring up to that point and make it look really good. But for those of you who are concerned that dash cams have to have dangly wires in your car, from the driver point of view, and I'm hoping I get that right now, from the driver point of view, you pretty much have no idea there's a dash cam in this vehicle. The only telltale sign you get, if you know you're waiting for it, is the sounds that dash cam makes when you first turn on the car. Turn that on. There you go. That little doorbell sound is the sound it makes when you turn it on. And that's it. So I hope this video helped you guys out. I hope this encourages some of you guys to go do a good install job on your dash cam. Stop worrying about that dangly wire. If it did, be sure to gently press that like button. If you're stopping by for the first time, don't forget to subscribe, and as always, thanks for watching. So we're in my wife's truck. Just give another example of a dash cam install and show you it's pretty much the same with most cars. So for her car, because of the sensor behind the mirror, I chose this location, and routed the cable up, gave myself plenty of room to pull it out. I secured it up around this module right here, and I ran it up underneath, over through here, down the door jamb, underneath, and all the way over to here. Now you'll see it's not over here right now because my wife doesn't like to have cables and stuff in her way. So what I did was I popped out the center console simply by just lifting and pulling it straight up, and I fed the wire underneath here up into this area here, reached in and grabbed it, and then I routed it right into here, this little hidden compartment. You get a flashlight going there. This little hidden compartment right there, and ran the wire up underneath the center console. So hiding things away kind of makes the whole job look neater. You don't have to do this. This is just my personal preference and my OCD to have a clean vehicle. Yeah, totally up to you. But again, keeping the wiring neat and hidden is very easy. I've taken dash cams in and out of these cars over and over and over again, and it takes almost no time. As you can see right there, got a little spot where that cable is sticking out. Gonna have to fix that. I can't stand seeing cables. There we go. Get that back behind there. All right. So, again, very neat. You don't see a bulge in the pillar. So, that's it. This footage here is from the Guardian Defender Plus, which is in the final stages of the WorkPlay Drive approval process. I'll be putting out a review once I'm done testing the GPS functionality. I set up an affiliate code for Guardian, offering my subscribers a discount, which you'll find in the description. With Guardian, the only way to get a discount is to set up an affiliate code, which the only way to do that is to get paid a small percentage for the purchases. So my goal is to earn enough money to purchase a camera and give it away to one of my subscribers.